What's up, everyone? How's it going? I have been working hard at it doing the current solo raid in Nikke, and I'm actually in need of a break, so I wanted to do a short stream today to discuss the current solo raid, and also share one of my runs, my best run so far. Yeah, let's just jump into it. Not going to be too long of a stream, again. And because I need to jump back into the raid, and I just want to focus on that. Okay, so this raid, as you guys know, whoops. I guess there's no way of. Well, I guess I could show my teams. This raid, as you guys know, is a water weakness raid. So it's a fire boss that's weak to water. And it's really tricky because a lot of players, including myself, don't really have... Oh, I'm blocking the way. A lot of players, including myself, don't really have any water units invested. And so it's been very much like a challenge to find 5 teams that can survive towards the end of the fight and also do a decent amount of damage. This raid's really interesting in that regard because since no one really has like hardcore investments in water units, we're kind of just making it up as we go along, right? A lot of players are just using their most invested units, whatever those units may be. And it turns out the raid is actually very flexible in that regard. You don't have to pick the exact same team as everyone else is picking, as long as you can make it work. And so we can scroll through this top 10, for example, and come across all sorts of different teams. Like almost every single one of these has slight variations, or they're just completely different. What's more interesting too is with the introduction of Mast and Anchor in this solo raid, these two have proven themselves to be really good partners with Scarlet, Black Shadow, and Alice as well. And so you're seeing a lot of people separate Crown from that team and bring Crown somewhere else. And you also see other people do the exact opposite. Well, they'll just leave Crown on the Scarlet and Alice team and then bring Mast and Anchor everywhere else. It just kind of depends on what you're going for and what your investments are, right? But yeah, a huge problem with this raid is that the boss has a mechanic that summons a bunch of mobs, and if you don't kill those mobs within like the first 2 seconds of them appearing, they will only take 1 damage for the rest of that fight until they die. And that's really hard. So you're going to see a lot of units with screen wipes, like Escape Quency, for example. Who else has a screen wipe? Like Phantom has one. Freaking, I think some people are using Mari to screen wipe with her burst too. Yeah, like Mari right here. And so whatever strategy or character that you want to do, as long as they have a screen wipe, you'll probably be fine. For my team, I wonder if there's a way to share it. Okay, yeah, these are my characters that I tried running. And so, to bring it up as an example, my team 1 has Rapi as the screen wiper, since she has like the AoE attack that detonates and hits everything around it, right? My team 2 doesn't have a screen wipe, so that's like definitely one of the trickier teams to play. This one has Scarlet, which her distributed damage will take out all the mobs. Actually, any character with distributed damage will take out the mobs. It will pierce through that defense that I mentioned earlier, which is kind of weird because I don't even know how it works, but that's just how it is. Which is also why Quency is really good in this raid, because her burst is also distributed damage. I'm rambling, but there's just so much detail to discuss in this one that it's probably going to be something I'm just going to have to try my best to explain as we watch my replay. Hey, what's up, Kenton? Welcome in. Yeah, and I also opted to play Shotgun Team as my last team, and they're really good because they have AoE attacks that can deal with the mobs. But aside from that, you'll also notice the trend of almost every single team requiring a healer to some degree. So I think 4 out of 5 of my teams use healers. The only one that doesn't use healers is the first one because they're pretty fine without it. But everyone else, if I didn't have a healer, they wouldn't make it to the end of the fight most likely. And so that's really hard. I've had to make some really goofy decisions with my team building, like separate Naga from whoever else she would normally be with, and then Tia and Naga are on my Shotgun team for whatever reason. Frickin' Blanc is on my Rouge team because my Electric team, believe it or not, was like probably the team that struggled the most in this raid, even though for previous raids they were like the strongest. Yeah, and then I had Anchor for healing on the Alice team. Honestly, with this team, they don't really struggle that much with taking out the mobs because Scarlet's so good. And then I use Helm as like my healer for my second team. And she's really fun because I'll show you later, but she's like kind of like brute forcing it. She just gets lifesteal when she does her burst, so you can just ignore everything and keep shooting. But yeah, I am going to jump into it because I'm explaining way too much shit and it's like information overload. Let's just watch the replay really quick. Alright, so again, these are my 5 teams. This is a run I did yesterday. Honestly, I haven't been molding too much in this raid, but I would like to try to do one more run after stream. Yeah, so you'll see here, when Rapi bursts, she'll hit everything around her every time her shots load up to 100%. You'll also see a lot of pause cheesing in all of these runs, because it's really hard to go back and forth between aiming at mobs and aiming at the core. And so occasionally I will pause just to like give myself time to catch up. Normally I don't really like doing stuff like that. It almost feels like, you know, the same feeling as like playing Dance Dance Revolution and holding the bar or something like that. It's kind of cheating, but at the same time it's like a gacha game where we're being rewarded with like gems and shit, so I don't really give a shit. If it was like a human to human thing, that would be a different story. But yeah, one of the things about the mobs is that there are 2 types of mobs that will appear in this raid. The regular mobs will just kind of shoot at you normally, and then you'll have this other mob that will stun you. And so you usually want to prioritize killing the stunners, because the rest of the mobs can be easily ignored, but if you let the stunners stay alive, you'll probably be fucked. Hey, what's up, Millie? Welcome in. My boyfriend looked over at the screen and looked at the red girl's ass and said mine was bigger. Is it true? How is this possible? Millie got fat ass. Excuse my language, Millie. I just can't believe it. Here I reload to, or I stay covered to let my reload come back on so I can get all my ammo back. Again, Rapi just doing like a phenomenal job at taking out these mobs. I originally tried to run this team with Asuka, But it turns out my Asuka's not invested enough to match Red Hood, so I just used Red Hood instead. Hey, what's up, King Guy? I am currently sitting at 7.8 billion. Like, I'm doing okay. But I definitely could be optimizing a little more. How's the raid going for you, King Guy? Your boyfriend told you should cosplay Chun-Li. Yeah, for these QTEs, you have to use a water unit. So this is going to be something that you see on every single team. Like, there has to be a water unit on the team or else we lose. You can't break those unless you have a water unit. You're stuck at 5.7? Yeah, I can show you my teams. I mean, we're reviewing it right now, so... I'm not actually playing right now. This is like a replay. I do a lot of ballsy plays, honestly. Like, the more and more I've tried to push the score. Like, sometimes I'll just continue shooting when those suicide bombers start flying towards me. Because it's like, hey, if you happen to survive, then you'll be able to deal all that damage still, right? But yeah, I got a 2.2 billion with this team. Not bad. Yeah, there's pause strats. You could see me like press pause on like every single fight just to like cheese the aiming a little bit. It'd actually be kind of cool if they turned it into like an in-game mechanic. I think that'd be neat. Yeah, see how I like targeted all the stunners? That's really important. Like, I feel like this raid is hard for sure. But also, I think a lot of people don't know the matchup. The strategy that you should be going for is shooting the core as much as possible while staying alive. You shouldn't even bother shooting these guys because it does 1 damage when you hit them, so it's a complete waste of time. Occasionally, they'll fly in front of you and block the core from getting shot, but you can't really do much about that aside from kill them earlier. Yeah, just quick duck and cover. On this team, it's also really important that I have Helm. Not only because she's a healer, but because she's also the burst generator for us, right? She builds the fastest amount of meter. So you'll see me switch to her occasionally just to do like a single shot. And you'll see our burst gauge like fill up really fast after that. Yeah, you definitely want to take out those turrets that appear as well because those will give you a really hard time. But yeah, this seems really fun. You can see here I just ignore the shots that are coming at me because my units have lifesteal. Like anytime Helm bursts, she can just kind of go ham with the entire team. It's also why I decided to run Modernia on this team with Helm, because I don't want a burst of Modernia, right? And so this team's like probably the most offensive out of all my teams. They don't really block. They rarely block. They're always just shooting. Your highest score is 2.5. A lot of people have higher scores than me on individual teams, but I think all my teams together made for a pretty decent score. Like, I think I'm sitting at like somewhere between top 1% and top 2% at the moment. Let's block this real quick. Yep. Yeah, that's really bad. You definitely want to try to deal at least 1 billion or else you're probably not going to make top 3. I mean, what's your rank right now? Do you know where you're at in the leaderboard with your current score? You're at 2.1. I'd be careful and try to push it a little further Only because, like, the final 24 hours are always, like, giga sweaty. Yeah, if you want, like, to secure your position. I know I'm probably safe. Like, I did 7.8 billion, which is, like, way higher than I thought I was gonna deal. I think I ended up getting really lucky on investments. Because I ended up doing a Phase 2 Helm, and then I invested in XLudmilla and Quency. So now I kind of have like a decent water team for future raids, but at the same time I didn't really invest in their skills. I just gave them dolls and rolled on overload lines. Got really good lines on them. I'll probably share it later. Yeah, so that team did okay. They did 1.8 billion. See, top breaks use a full fire team and full electric with one water unit each. Yeah, because you only really need the water unit to break the QTE. There's also some people who are running guillotine, like winter guillotine. And for those teams, you want to stack the water units because that's what she does, right? It's like the more water units on the same team there are, the more she'll buff them. But that's like the only exception. There are a lot of water units that people could be using. I think I've seen like at least 10 different characters commonly used. Yeah, like Phantom, Quency. I saw Rem. Mast and Anchor, of course. Viper. XLudmilla. Phantom. You don't have the new Anchor and you're not willing to waste 200 gold mileage for her? I would say it's not like super worth pulling on her if you're already getting like top 3%. Oh, sorry, Millie. I don't think the Burger King thing works on this screen. But also, we're watching a replay anyway. So now's probably not the time. I'll redeem your points later. Yeah, this team is like really annoying to play because I have to like be really precise with Alice's left clicks if I want to optimize her damage. And they get super tiring the more and more you retry. You don't even get to mash it necessarily. It's really annoying how she works because you have to actually hold down the left click for like a split second and then release. And you do that over and over and over. You'll see me occasionally fuck up. Yeah, like see how there's like delays sometimes? That's me fucking up the execution. My volume is no way. She's at 444. Like, I could invest in her if I wanted to, like, burst faster, I guess, but I don't know. No, Millie, I was saying, the Burger King Piccolo is not supported on this scene that I'm currently in. So I'll refund your points later. Yeah, just making sure to charge a full shot when you have the opportunity. You gotta make use of that downtime. Like, that's probably what I'm gonna focus on the next time I redo these runs. Because I want to get better at, like, optimizing every single second. Whether I need to, like, reload or, like, build burst gauge faster. Yeah, this team's the hardest to get a consistent score with because they're so execution based. Like playing Alice is so execution based. I also have to like do my best to protect Mast and Anchor throughout the fight. They died here, which isn't a super big deal, but yeah, I got like 1.5 billion with them. I do. I paired Tia Naga with the shotgun team, which is kind of weird. You might wonder, but that was the only solution I could come up with to keep the shotgun team alive. And also to have them deal like a decent amount of damage. This team's really hard to play. This team took me so many retries. The good news is my Quency has like almost like 100% elemental on her OLs. I just got super lucky. But she's also still just sitting at like 444 skill investment. So she doesn't really have like... She hasn't reached her true potential necessarily. Maybe in the future. Have you tried starting Miss Marcy over Leona on the shotgun team? No, because I would have Naga as my B2. And then she's like already the burst 2 of that team. Like, if I'm pairing her with Tia, it's probably going to be better than Marciana, right? I also even tried running Bunny Alice, but I feel like she doesn't heal fast enough. I don't really like Bunny Alice. Also, Grinix, welcome. Wanderwaves, welcome, welcome. How's it going? Oh no, sorry. I haven't refunded it yet, Millie. I'm gonna do it later because I want to watch through and review this really quick. Is your shotgun team 1B1, 1B2, 3B3? No, it was Tia Naga, so Tia is like the B0, I guess. Well, she technically counts as a B1, I guess. Yeah, she's like a B0.5. The only thing I don't like about manualing Quency is I feel like her shots miss really easily. Like, unless you're aiming at something, you're not going to actually shoot with her. It's like the difference between a machine gun and an SMG, right? So sometimes you'll see me aim at the core, but I'm not actually shooting at the core because I'm like slightly off aim. You need to do this still? Dude, this one's hard, Med. I would be pretty careful about building teams if you care about like placing high. But also I feel like you would do decent if you build proper teams because you have Mast and like Quency and shit and Guillotine. Like you actually have a lot of water units invested. I think you just need to learn the matchup. Yeah, see here I delay my burst of Quency just because it's the only way I can take out those mobs all at once. Yo, what's good, Abyss Watcher? Welcome in. Dude, these solo raids are so hard if you don't lab. Like, if you're just doing them last second, you'll probably not get too high. You'll probably break top 10, but... Or sorry, like top 10%, maybe? But probably not top 3%. That's all it is. It's like labbing matchups that you've determined. Because you get to decide which teams you play, but all those teams play differently from one another. Like, I honestly think solo raids is probably like the most fun part of Nikke when there's not some kind of anniversary event or campaign story going on. Because you actually get to play a bunch of different characters and you get to deck build, right? Like when you play campaign in Nikke, you're just using like the same characters over and over. But here you actually get to see characters that you normally don't see anywhere else. But yeah, one thing of this team is I actually did finally level up Tove's skill 1 to level 9. So I'm proccing her attack speed buff a lot more than before. Pretty sure the guy I got Tump 1 here in Global had a score since day 1. Yeah, those are the whales. I think it's the same for NA. Like the top scores in NA usually don't change until like the last day. Someone always does like a final hit in the last 2 to 3 hours. Oh yeah, one thing about this team is Soda's burst has a little bit of a delay on it, whereas Privaty's burst hits instantly, and so I constantly have to like time the burst differently. If I ever miss the burst and I keep the mobs alive, I pretty much just restart right then and there, because the mobs aren't going to die once they get the defense buff. Is any of this making sense? It's just so much to explain, dude. I feel like I should have like started with like a tutorial or something. This is like super hard. This is like me like super deep in the raid. Baseball girl should be allowed to do hit home run parries on the missiles. That would be sick. Do the fucking like Smash Brothers sound effect when the baseball bat hits. Yeah, Tia is also my meter builder this team. I almost missed this burst here, but I barely make it. Like, had it been like a second later, all those mobs would have gotten defense buff. And then I would have had to restart. So a lot of things had to line up properly there. Had to make sure Tia built enough bursts. Had to make sure my burst was coming up at the right time. You did a 720 mil. I got pretty lucky with my score. I didn't even think I was going to deal 800 million. It's always funny with Shotgun's team though, because they're kind of RNG dependent, right? Just depends on how many procs you get with Tove. Oh really? There's a baseball unit on Dragon Ball Legends that would do that against Ki Blast? That's so sick. Oh god, it feels like I'm gonna miss this one. Yeah, and then I barely make it. Actually, I do miss it against some units, but at this point, like, I don't really have a choice. There's like 2 stunners left, and we just have to keep on attacking because this is our best run so far. The T is getting stunned and shit. But it almost didn't matter, right? Because, like, by that point, like, you already did all the damage you could. Yeah, so they dealt 824 million. And all that total gave me 7.8 billion damage with those 5 teams. And I got 0.69%. Nice. Nice. Yeah, and if you guys want to look at my teams, I'll show you after this. We can go over the OLs and shit. Oops. Alright, so what are you looking at? Let's look at the water units that I started investing into, because again, last time we did a stream I got a treasure Helm. She is fairly uninvested as far as overload. She only has the treasure, so I'm basically just using her for the burst gen. That's like her entire purpose. It's her burst gen and it's her her lifesteal, right? Yeah, this is really important here. Every time you enter full burst, she'll give you like an attack damage for your allies. But I didn't overload her because I actually ran out of credits. It was crazy how fast the credits ran out. I did overload Ludmilla and Quency, so I could show these lines. Got one line of Elemental on top. Like, Elemental's your best friend whenever you're doing like a solo raid that has weakness to the element you're playing. If you can combine that with your skill investments, you'll probably do well no matter what solo raid it is. Then you definitely need ammo on Ludmilla. At least probably at least 2 lines is good on her. Because you want to stall enough time for her to shoot until her burst comes up. Once her burst comes up, then the reload speed will kick in and you don't have to worry about it as much. But before that, it's kind of a big deal. So for her, I only leveled up skill 1 up to 7. And I think that's like the farthest I've upgraded any water unit on this raid as far as skills. I'm a little stingy this time around because I noticed my score is like doing pretty good already. I don't want to like break the bank like I did with Rapi and just like burn all my skill mats and shit. So 744 on Ludmilla. Her remaining OLs are decent as well. Here's an attack line, could be higher. It's only 6.18. And then I have a charge speed line, which is useless. And then a max ammo line as well. And then the last gear has max ammo and element. So I have like 2 elemental rolls between the helmet and the footwear. And it's not a ton, honestly. But I did pair her with a team that does decent amount of damage, so that's pretty much Ludmilla. Quency, on the other hand, I got really good rolls for. Got elemental damage here with hit rate. Hit rate's apparently good on her. Got max ammo, elemental, and hit rate again. This elemental is like blue, which is really nice. I'll probably keep that one forever. And then I got elemental on line 2. Unfortunately, this stat's not going to do anything. And then the last line has max ammo, element, and defense, which is whatever. Your Quency's built as hell, but your rolls are mid. Yeah, I brought her up to SR5. I feel like that's like a decent place to stop if you're not trying to spend everything. Like, SMG dolls are really good to upgrade because they give this attack multiplier. And so, you know, for a character that all her damage comes from her basic attacks, it's super worth it. I was on the fence about it, honestly, because I really didn't like the idea of investing into her because she's like basically only usable in solo raid. I guess you could use her in Missile's Tower, but I don't know. Like, I have higher priorities than upgrading Quency, in my opinion. But now that I have a good one, I'm like, whatever. We can use her in the future. Like, 100 element is nothing to scoff at. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I invested in anyone else this raid. Because Anchor and Mast are still sitting at 444 with no OLs. The thing about them is they're supports, right? Like, they don't really care that much about a couple of extra stats. It's like, maybe if you made them OL, then they would be a little tankier, but they shouldn't be getting hit in the first place in this raid. Yeah, I did invest in Tove as well, so I guess I invested in Ludmilla skill 1 to 7, and then Tove skill 1 from 7 to 9. And that was pretty much it. Yeah, I was very budget this raid. Mostly relying on like pre-existing units to do the work for me. Because, you know, I do have a Rapi, I do have a Red Hood, I do have a Scarlet Black Shadow and an Alice. Like, let's just let them do the hard work because the supports are just going to support, right? But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for now. I'm in the middle of doing my run still. And I kind of fucked up already. Because I did my first 2 hits. And my first team did amazing. My first hit did like 200 million more damage than I did on my previous score. However, I fucked up a little on my second team and did like 50 million less. So I'm really like punching myself over that one. That leaves me with 3 more teams to sweat it out with. Which I don't know. It's gonna be pretty sweaty. Yeah, I'm mainly seeing if I could try to hit 8 billion. I think it's doable. And I do have, even after this attempt, I'll have 2 more attempts left, so I'll do what I can. But I think I'm safe as far as like placing within the top 3. I'm not as worried about that. Oh, stress, man. I was like, after coming from the fire raid where I wasted all of my skill mats, I guess I don't want to say waste, but I used up a lot of my skill mats on like Asuka and Rapi, right? And after that, I didn't really have much else left. And between that raid and this one, we actually had less time than usual. Like, it hasn't even been a full month before they threw another solo raid at us. I'm looking now. My Mast, Quency, Viper, Door, and Privaty are my built water units. So an important thing with this raid, Med, is you mainly want to build teams around taking out the mobs. It's not enough to just have like a water unit. The water units are there mainly to deal with the QTE that appears halfway through the fight. But if you're trying to like survive the mobs, you need to bring one of 2 things. You either bring a unit with distributed damage, so like Scarlet Black Shadow has it, Quency has it, Dorothy does have it as well, but I don't know how good yours will be for that. Yeah, because distributed, the way it works is these mobs, I'll show you. These mobs will basically, if you don't kill them in the first like 2 seconds that they appear. Let me see if they can pop up here. Where are these mobs at? Yeah, so these mobs will appear, right? If you don't kill these guys within like the first 2 seconds that they appear, you will do 1 damage for like the remainder of the fight to them until they die. And so it's just like a super big waste of damage. What you want to do is, if you can either use a character with distributed damage like Scarlet Black Shadow to take them all out. Like, she's super amazing at that. Like, if I play Alice Scarlet Black Shadow, I don't even have to think about it, because Scarlet Black Shadow will like occasionally just do it by herself. Like, look at that. Right? See that? And so that's one strategy. She's like the best one for it. She's probably like the best unit this raid to take out those things. The other unit is Quency, and hers is like a little more restricted because she has to time it with her burst. Is her burst gonna be up? Yeah, so she has to time it with her burst, and it also means that as you're bouncing back and forth between between your first burst 3 and your second burst 3, there's gonna be like a downtime period, right? Which leads me to the last strategy. The last strategy that you have to rely on, and there's no other way to put this. You need to pause cheese. There are 2 types of mobs that will appear. You need to pause the game and identify which of the mobs are stun mobs. And take those out first. The stun mobs are the ones with the tail. See the one to the left of Ludmilla's cursor right now? And see how that's different from the one to the top right? So what I'll do is like, there's like 4 of them that appear, I believe. It's like 4 or 5. So you'll see here, I'll just like pause cheese. Just because there's 5. Take out those 5 and ignore the rest. Just continue attacking the core. At this point, you will have to only deal with the missiles. That's probably the only thing that will kill you. Because the other mobs don't deal a ton of damage, especially if you have a healer. Like, they're not going to be a threat. They will do one thing after a certain amount of time, which they will try to suicide bomb you. But you can just take cover when that happens. And it's like almost like 100% success rate. Yeah, right here. They'll just try to dive you. You know, you just take cover and keep shooting. And that's pretty much the fight, right? Deal with the mobs however you can, whether it's through distributed damage or with a burst or with pause cheesing. Like, I think all my teams have some different variation of that. This team doesn't have distributed damage at all. Shotgun team. But I was able to juggle between Maid Privaty's bursts and Bunny Soda's bursts to take out the mobs whenever they appeared. Also, Animal Farm, what's good? Yeah, it's so weird, Animal Farm. It's actually amazing that you identified that so early in the raid, because it helped me like build teams way faster. Also, King Guy, sorry I missed your message, but good luck on your runs if you ever hear this. Yeah, so it kind of depends on how you want to do it, Med. The problem with building Guillotine for this raid is she'll do a ton of damage, yeah, but Guillotine's better the more water units you surround her with, right? Which means you're removing those water units from other teams. You know what I mean? The way I built my teams, I basically only had 1 water unit on each of my teams except for Team 2. And Helm's not even an attacker. Helm's just the person I'm using to burst so that Modernia can attack. Because Modernia gets like less DPS when she bursts on her own, right? Yeah, so do a Scarlet team, pair that with Alice and Maids. Well, there's 2 Scarlet teams you could build. You can either build this one. You pick any B1 of your choice. It could be like Leader, Volume, fucking D-Wife if you wanted. So the B1 doesn't matter, right? But the 2 that you want to try picking is either Mast and Anchor, or you could pick, if I can find them.
I will answer my subject's call.
Or you can pick Crown Privity.
Need me?
This team is good because they'll give really, really fast reload time and high damage for these 2 characters. Because these are your main damage dealers, right? The Crown team should deal more damage than Mast and Anchor overall. But if you want to move Crown to a different team, then the option is there for you. Actually, Ein is decent too in this raid. I've seen some people use Ein just for the screen wipe.
Right?
Like, she's definitely not a water unit, nor does she have, I don't think she has distributed damage. But she does the job if you're just trying to, like, screen wipe, right? Yeah, she has true damage. I had a feeling going into it because Water Raid hyping up new units whose skills all buff distributed damage. Yeah, it's kind of their gimmick. I am hoping that the Water Pilgrim that they eventually release will be distributed damage based. And when that happens, then Mast and Anchor will synergize with them.
Are you calling
And
me?
it'll be like
Are we
perfect,
going to
right?
do some marine life exploration?
There's nothing in the description. Yeah, there's like nothing explaining it. Like you just had to figure it out on your own.
Aina's also a cute guy, so she deserves to be on the team.
Yo, Booyah, thanks so much for the 27 months. Aina's very cute. I like Aina a lot. Shit works the opposite normally and makes me mad. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be the first time they've just like pull some kind of weird gimmick during a solo raid. Just some weird exceptional rule. But yeah, you know, the usual rules apply. Try to build teams that have burst generation. Try to build teams that have cooldown reduction. Your success in this raid will be largely dependent on which characters you have invested. Like if you have a character that happens to have a screen wipe, but she can't actually screen wipe because her damage is too low. Like that's what happened between me and Mari. I was trying to put Mari on the electric team, but she was too weak to take out the mob, so I had to ditch that idea. Yeah, bring healing too. Let me see here. These are the things to consider. 1. You can bring CDR, right? Cooldown reduction. 2. Burst generation. Oh wait, hang on. Oh fuck me. And then, yeah, I'll just turn that off for now so you can see better. CDR, burst generation, healing. There are exceptions, but you'll probably need a healer on like 4 to 5 of your teams, most likely. Distributed damage, if you have it. And then AoE screen wipe, if you have it. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, also a water unit. 1 water per team. At least 1. Because if you don't, you can't clear the QTE and you will die. So my recommendation, try to run some mock-ups. Just like build your teams first. Make sure they meet all these 6 requirements. And then after that, just run some mock-ups and make sure they can like get through the fight. And if all of them make it through alive, then you'll probably come out with a decent score. Yeah, it's a lot of matchup knowledge in this one too, so it'll take you some time to get used to the boss's pattern. But once you do, it gets a lot easier, because the boss attacks with the same pattern on everyone. Oh shit, the roundup text? Yeah, this was the last text we had. I was recommending the roundup movies. They're good movies. Should watch them. She has a Crown, Privaty, Ein, Naga, and Dora maybe? Depends. Cause like Crown ideally should go on a team that will allow you to push the most damage. So for me, she actually ended up on my Rapi team because my Rapi is like mega invested. She's not even a water unit, right? But the fact is, like, she just hits like really, really hard and also deals with the mobs pretty well. So the more I have to, the less I have to worry about the mobs, the more damage I will deal to the core. That was my reasoning. But honestly, like, I wouldn't even just look at my teams in a vacuum because this is just what worked for me. What works for you could be completely different depending on what you have invested. So honestly, I don't think the team building is like, you don't have to necessarily X-copy anyone in this raid. A lot of people have different teams. If you like just scroll through these ones over here, right? But again, they all fit the same description of like you know, everyone's got a healer, everyone's got distributed damage, everyone's got a screen wipe. Yeah, and if you need help building teams too, just like throw them at me and we'll figure out what we can do. Like, see this team here, Matt? This team is like the ideal guillotine team because you can just throw all the water units and guillotine will buff all of them. That's why this team did so much damage. But the problem is that option's not going to be available for everyone. Because most people don't have like 4 water units to just throw out like that. But yeah, this player made it work pretty well. These are pretty good teams. Yeah, they all dealt like around the same amount of damage too. Electric team dealt the least. I have that. I have a lot of invested water units. Yeah, so I guess you could try it. Yeah, let me know how it goes. I'm about to return to my runs. I'm about to go offline and return to my runs, and then if anything, I'll just share like my final run at a later date. But I mostly just wanted to do a catch-up stream. See how everyone's doing with their raids. Share my current raid status. Raid fun. Raid good. Matt, I never know how to interpret when you say that because you'll be like, check these invested units out and they're like 732 with an OL boot. Nah. They're actually invested? Also, if you have any units with like a ton of elemental lines, and that's something to consider, like try putting them on teams that need it, right? Or teams that will benefit from that. Dory Gray, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. What are you doing today? How was stream today? We were just reviewing solo raid and Nikke, and currently sharing my woes, sharing my concerns. I'm working on treasuring my Viper, even though she's not that great because I think she's neat. Her art's really nice. Mast is kitted out with all OLs in 777. How's your Alice and Scarlet though? Playing Siege and Valorant. Stream was fun, made some new friends. Nice! Making friends? It's always nice to hear. I hope you had a good time. Quency is also OL'd out in 777. Yeah, I feel like investing in Alice and Scarlet's probably the best decision I've made in the past couple months. Because they've been able to farm rocks for me like every single day. I just go in interception, I fight Kraken, right? And I get level 6 on Kraken, and then those give me a bunch of rocks. Like I got 5 rocks today. I got super lucky and got 5 rocks. But those rocks are allowing me to invest in other units. Like over time, it's such a good investment to upgrade Scarlet, Black Shadow, and Alice. Hey, take it easy, Dory. Yeah, thank you so much. Do rest up. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Your Alice is all out in 10 and 10. Do you have like a properly built Alice though? Does she have I forgot what the number was. Does she have at least like 9% charge speed? Because that might be something to consider. With Alice, you need, I think it's at least like 8% or 9% charge speed between her OLs for her to be like optimal. Yeah, and you also don't need to upgrade her skill 2. I left mine at 4. Sorry. But yeah, if you look at my skill 2 down there, I just left mine at 4. Because she doesn't really need healing, really. All the skill does is give you some extra healing. Yeah, I would probably skill reset her when you get the chance. And that'll like save you so many mats that you could put into other characters. 9% lets her burst instant 100% charge. Yeah, it's like 9%, right? I actually have 3 charge speed lines on mine, so I'm actually over the requirement. Ideally, you should have 2 charge speed lines that are good enough. But that's gonna require some RNG. Also, she's fucked if she doesn't have max ammo. Because your entire DPS is determined by how many times you could shoot during a burst. And if she doesn't have enough of an ammo capacity, then that's not going to happen, right? Your shoot your Ein's max ammo lines? How many max ammo lines does your Ein have? So that's like 16 shots for some reason. Mine's actually decent too. And sometimes I still feel like it's not enough. Yeah, I even have like a blue line here. With Alice, I constantly have to, like, instead of rapid shooting to build meter, I try to full charge shot occasionally with her. Occasionally. It depends on what's going on. Like, if there's little missiles like that, then I have to prioritize taking those out, but yeah, sometimes I'll just have to, like, charge up fully. Oops. You have 3 ammo lines? Nice! Your ammo lines are probably fine. Phew. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to do a long stream or anything. I'm sorry it was a mess. Probably none of this made sense to 99% of people, but it's something I care about, and I hope to continue improving for future solo raids. This is definitely like something I'm passionate about right now. I'm sitting on so many fucking mats and materials and rolls. Jesus, man. Where's my rocks at? How many rocks I got? 26 rocks. 27 including this one. Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting for Eva collab and seeing if those units are any good. I'm very curious what they'll do. Because if we just got fire units last time for Asuka and Rei, like what are they going to be now? Are they going to be wind? Are they going to be water? There's no way they'll be water, right? We've been getting so much water already. Want to roll for new maids, but I can't risk missing cracked Eva units? Yeah, I got so lucky, dude. Look at this. Do you see my gold tickets at the top? And I only have 10? That's because these are the only 10 pulls I've done ever since I've pulled on Rapi. And I got Mast and Anchor both within those 10 pulls. What was it? It was like it took me like 7 pulls to get Mast and then 3 pulls to get Anchor. Like I was super fucking blessed. It was insane. But yeah, I would say don't even bother pulling for maids unless you can get them both for this raid. It's really like your mess is going to be hindered if you don't have an Anchor. Feel caramel knock on your jar? Yeah, probably, right? It's like I went and flew too close to the sun. Now my bad luck is going to start piling up. They'll be in the wish list eventually, so I'm not too bummed. Tatsu's knife will chip and shatter during Ever rolls. No! I'll be fine. I can secure them with these gems anyway. The only thing I'm praying is that they won't require me to like MLB them. I'm only ever gonna MLB Pilgrims, I think. So for me, that was like Cinderella and Rapi Red Hood. It's like super worth it to get 3 copies of them because I pretty much use them in every single content, whether it's solo raid or tower or campaign bossing. Want an MLB Grave? She deserves it. Grave! I've always been on the fence about ML being supports. Like, I'd rather do it for a DPS. Rapi makes sense because she's like a support and a DPS. So, like, she's super worth it no matter what. She's also got like 2 elements that she's good at. But yeah, I don't know about Grave. My Grave is not that invested. She's sitting at 444 right now. Does she even have a doll? She does have SR5. Interesting. Yeah, increases damage dealt to the core. She also has no OLs at all. None of my gears have overlaid with her. That's the one thing I haven't really touched too much is my supports have never been fully invested outside of Naga and Crown, right? Like the 2 most important ones you could argue. But like my Blanc, my Rouge, my Grave, fucking D-Wife, like all those other ones are like not that invested. Yeah, her kit is pretty cool. I really like throwing her onto teams and not having to think about burst gen. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, time to fuck off. Just wanted to do a short one. Anyway guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm not gonna bother rating anyone because it's a pretty small crowd tonight. But you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. I will update you on the solo raid situation. I'll just record my runs and like share them with you guys at a later date if I happen to get like a better score. But I'm gonna try to shoot for 8 billion and hopefully, fingers crossed, make it into top 1% this time. It's gonna be really hard though. Yeah, thanks guys. Night. Good luck on your runs. And if you have any questions, man, just like shoot me a message, dude. I'm down to help. We could like chill in VC or whatever if you want. But yeah, take it easy guys. Bye. I have no stream schedule yet, but I'll come up with something. I just know this Saturday there's no stream because I'm probably going to be attending the EVO Awards. But outside of that, I think other days are open for streams, so